You can change your life the moment you decide to open your eyes and get to work. Have you ever felt regret when you hit snooze again and wasted another hour of your day? Can you sense the quiet tension in your chest as the sun rises and you're still under the covers? Today I'll show you how those small choices add up to real results and why waking up early matters more than you think. You'll discover simple steps to turn your morning into a launch pad for success and feel the rush of progress as you check off your first task. I'll share practical tips to sharpen your focus, boost your energy, and build the kind of discipline that sticks. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do when your alarm goes off, so you never trade your dreams for comfort again. Stay with me and learn how to prove you want this life every single morning. Number 1, wake up early and chase your goals every day. You know what the hardest thing to do is? It's not climbing the mountain. It's not lifting the weight. It's not even fighting your fear. The hardest thing to do is to wake up early and look yourself in the mirror and admit that your life is exactly where it is because of your choices. That's hard, but that's the truth. And if you're honest enough to face it, you're strong enough to change. Most people are sleeping through their own potential. They're hitting snooze on the very thing that could change their life. You can't win the day if you're not awake for it. You can't grow if you're always behind. You can't get ahead if you're waiting to feel motivated before you get out of bed. People think success is about skill or luck or timing. It's not. It's about showing up. It's about rising with intention. Waking up early is the first sign that you've taken your life seriously. It's the first move in the game that separates those who live on their terms and those who only dream about it. You have goals? Then you've got to chase them before the world wakes up. That time in the morning when everything is still, when no one's asking anything of you. That's your time. That's your edge. If you sleep through it, you lose it. And every time you say just five minutes, what you're really saying is, I'll stay average. And I know you don't want that. You wouldn't be listening to this if you were okay with that. There's a fire in you. Maybe it's small. Maybe it's buried under years of disappointment, but it's still there. You've got to feed that fire. And the way you feed it is by waking up and moving toward your goals before anyone has a chance to stop you. No distractions, no noise, just you, your mission, and your commitment. I'm not telling you to be perfect. I'm telling you to be consistent. Wake up and work on it, even if you're tired, especially if you're tired, because that's when it counts the most. You see, we live in a world that rewards visible results, but what builds those results happens in the dark, when no one is watching, when you're up before the sun, when you're grinding while others are sleeping in. That's when confidence is built. That's when habits are formed. That's when momentum is created. And when you wake up early and get to work, you start the day with a win. That win carries over. It changes how you walk, how you talk, how you think. You don't question if you deserve success. You feel it because you've earned it. The truth is, nobody's coming to push you. Nobody's coming to drag you out of bed. And no one's going to chase your goals for you. They're yours. That dream you have, that vision in your mind, it belongs to you. You either protect it with action or you abandon it with excuses. And I know it's easier to say, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow is just a trap. The only time that belongs to you is right now, this morning, this hour, this moment. You want more income? Wake up early and improve your skills. You want more freedom? Wake up early and build something of value. You want to be respected? Wake up early and become someone who deserves respect. It's not about the time on the clock. It's about what you do with it. If you wait until the world tells you what to do, you'll live on other people's agendas. But if you wake up early and claim your time, your mind becomes your own. Your choices become deliberate. And that's where real change begins. I've seen it happen. The man who was once lazy and disorganized starts waking up early. He starts reading. He starts journaling. He works out. He plans his day. 6 months later, he's not just more productive. He's a different man. His energy has changed. His confidence has grown. And it all started with a choice, a single decision to stop being casual with life. Because life doesn't reward the casual. It rewards the intentional. And the first sign of intention is waking up before you have to. Getting up for something instead of just getting up because you're forced. You'll be tempted to fall back into comfort. You'll hear that voice say, you've earned some rest. But the truth is, rest is not the reward. Discipline is pride in your effort. That moment when you sit down at night and know without a doubt that you gave the day everything you had, that's what you're really chasing. It's not about success for the world to see. It's about progress that you can feel. And that starts in the morning. That starts when you open your eyes and say, I've got work to do. Don't wait for someone to believe in you. Believe in yourself enough to prove you're serious. Set the alarm. Get up when it goes off. Don't even think about it. Don't negotiate with your mind. Because your mind is conditioned for comfort. Your soul is built for growth. The more you move toward discomfort, the more alive you'll feel. Every step outside your old patterns is a step toward your future. And every time you keep your promise to yourself, your confidence grows. So ask yourself, what kind of life do you want? And are your mornings matching that vision? Because if they're not, it's time to change. Don't wait for rock bottom. Don't wait for regret. Get ahead of it. Wake up early and face the hard truths. That's where strength is built. That's where your power is. You've got potential inside of you that hasn't been touched yet, but you won't find it by sleeping in. You won't find it by scrolling. You won't find it by waiting. You'll find it by showing up every day with purpose, with grit, and with the belief that the future belongs to those who are bold enough to earn it. So wake up early and chase your goals like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Not just your career, not just your bank account, your peace, your self-respect, your identity. All of it depends on the choices you make when nobody's watching. You want to change your life? Then stop sleeping through the chance to. You have everything it takes. What you do with it is up to you. Number 2, get focused now and stop wasting your precious time. You don't get time back. Once it's gone, it's gone. That's the truth that most people avoid. But the ones who face it, the ones who really get it, they live different lives. You don't need another motivational quote. You need a wake-up call. And here it is. Every second you spend unfocused, distracted, and drifting is a second you're letting your future slip away. There's a clock ticking on your potential. You might not see it, but it's real. And if you keep wasting your time, one day you're going to look back and wish you had taken yourself more seriously. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because I've lived long enough to know the pain of regret. And I've seen too many people settle into comfort while their goals die quietly inside them. The good news is, if you're still breathing, it's not too late. But you've got to get focused now, not later, not tomorrow. Now, what are you doing with your time? Be honest. How many hours are you giving to distractions that give you nothing back? How many minutes are you losing to scrolling, checking, watching, comparing, avoiding? You see, your focus is your life. Whatever has your focus controls your future. If your attention is scattered, your results will be too. And people wonder why they feel stuck. They say they want success, but their time goes to everything except what matters. You've got to take control of your mind. If you don't, someone else will, and they won't use it to build your dream. They'll use it to sell you theirs. You've got to decide what matters most, and then protect it like it's sacred. Because it is. Your time is sacred. Your focus is sacred. That's the only way to make progress. Not by doing 100 things halfway, but by locking in on the one thing that matters right now, and doing it with full effort. Think about this. What's one goal you've been carrying around for years? The thing you always say you're going to do. The thing you think about when you're alone. The thing that comes up again and again, but never gets done. Why is it still unfinished? It's not because you don't care. It's because your focus keeps getting hijacked. And until you decide to take it back, nothing will change. The world isn't going to give you permission to focus. It's not going to slow down for you. In fact, it's designed to keep you distracted, to keep you reactive, to keep you chasing things that don't matter. That's why focus is your superpower now. Not everyone has it. Not everyone wants it. But if you choose it, if you train your mind to stay on task, to stay present, to shut out the noise, you put yourself in a position of power most people never touch. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. Because when you know what matters, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't. That's what separates the ones who move forward from the ones who stay stuck. It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's focus. Focus on the right thing at the right time with the right intensity. That's how progress happens. That's how lives change. I've seen people turn everything around, not by doing more, but by doing less with more purpose. They stopped saying yes to everything. They stopped trying to be everywhere for everyone. They looked at their lives and said, what am I really building? That's the question you need to ask yourself. What are you building? Where is your time going? Because if you don't know, it's probably being stolen. And here's what most people don't want to admit. Wasted time is a symptom of fear. Fear of failure. Fear of success. Fear of facing the truth. So we avoid, we distract, we procrastinate. And all the while, time keeps moving. But what if you faced it? What if you looked at your life and said, I'm done wasting this gift? What if you put your phone down and picked your life up? You don't need a 10-year plan. You need 1 solid hour of deep focus every day. 1 hour where you cut out the noise. 1 hour where you move the needle forward. 1 hour where you say this matters and I'm doing it. Do that day after day and you'll wake up in a different world in a year. That's not hype. That's how it works. Focus builds results. Results build confidence. Confidence builds momentum. And momentum changes everything. But it all starts with you making a decision. A real decision. Not just a thought, a commitment. That from this moment forward, you don't play small with your time anymore. You don't keep saying you want it, and then spend your time like it means nothing. You respect your own future enough to give it your full attention. That's self-respect. That's leadership. That's power. And if you think you're too distracted to change, you're not. Focus is not a trait. It's a habit. It's built through discipline. It's trained through effort. The first step, cut the garbage. Cut the meaningless habits. Cut the mental clutter. You already know what's wasting your time. Don't lie to yourself. You don't need a new app. You don't need more motivation. You need to look yourself in the eye and say, because no one's going to care about your goals the way you do. No one's going to hand you the life you dream of. That's yours to build. And you've got to start by showing up fully for it. Not half in, not kind of focused, not maybe later, fully. Now, that's what separates regret from pride. There's a future version of you waiting, stronger, clearer, more alive. But you only meet that version when you stop wasting your time and start fighting for your focus. Fight for your mind, fight for your schedule, fight for your life. Because if you don't, if you keep drifting, you'll wake up one day and realize you were always capable of more. But you never gave yourself the chance. This is that chance, right now. This is your moment to shift. Not someday, not when it's easier, now. Start with 1 hour. No distraction, no excuses, just focused effort on what matters most. Then repeat it tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. And soon you'll look around and realize your life has changed. Not by luck, but by choice. Not by chance, but by focus. So do it. Get focused now. Stop wasting your precious time. You'll never regret working on yourself. You'll only regret waiting too long to start. Number 3, push through excuses and build your dream with effort. You will never have the life you want if you keep making excuses for why you don't already have it. That's the truth. Unfiltered, raw, and excuses might protect your pride in the moment, but they destroy your progress in the long run. You can tell yourself a story about why things haven't worked out, or you can get up and work harder until they do, but you can't do both. Every person who has achieved something remarkable started in a place where excuses would have made perfect sense. They were broke, they were tired, they were overwhelmed, but they did it anyway, not because it was easy, but because they refused to stay stuck. And if you're listening to this right now, it's because something inside of you is tired of being stuck too. You know you've got more in you. You know you were meant for something greater, but knowing is not enough. You've got to do the work. You can't build a dream by thinking about it. You build it by sweating for it. You build it by choosing effort over comfort every single day. You build it by pushing through the voice in your head that says, I'm too tired. It's too late. I don't know how. I'm not ready. That voice will always be there. It doesn't go away. But neither does your potential. And your job is to make your effort louder than your excuses. Look at where you are right now. Be honest about it. Maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you're stuck in a job you hate. Maybe your goals feel far away. But the truth is, you're not powerless. You're not trapped. You're just used to telling yourself the same story. A story that gives you permission to stay the same. And it's costing you. Every time you say, I can't, you're building walls around your own future. You're locking yourself out of opportunities that belong to you. But here's what you need to know. Change doesn't wait for the perfect time. It happens when you stop giving yourself an out. It happens when you stop explaining your failures and start attacking them with effort. You don't need more luck. You don't need a handout. You need discipline. You need grit. You need to get serious about building something real, something that matters to you. No more pretending that you're trying when you're really just circling the same excuses. No more blaming circumstances or other people or timing. You can't grow while holding on to blame. You've got to take full ownership, not partial, not conditional, full. Your results are your responsibility. And that's not punishment, it's power. Because if you're responsible for where you are, then you also have the power to change it. And that change begins the moment you decide that excuses no longer get a vote. From now on, effort is the only voice that matters. Are you willing to give this everything? Not just when it feels good, not just when you're motivated, but every day. Because building your dream is not about waiting for the right emotion. It's about doing the work, whether you feel like it or not. There's nothing more dangerous than potential without action. Talent without discipline. Dreams without plans. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't show up and work at them, they'll stay ideas. The world is full of people who never followed through. Don't be one of them. Be the one who wakes up and does it anyway. Be the one who builds when no one's watching. Be the one who proves to themselves that they're not all talk. You've got pain in your life? Good. Use it. Turn it into fuel. Use every disappointment, every rejection, every failure as a reason to go harder. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. That's the choice. And no one else can make it for you. Effort isn't just about working more. It's about working smarter. It's about being intentional. It's about knowing your priorities and protecting them. If your dream really matters to you, then everything else becomes noise. The distractions, the opinions, the fear, they don't deserve your time. Your focus is sacred. Give it only to the two that move you forward. If you're tired, rest with purpose, but don't quit. If you fail, learn with purpose, but don't back down. If it's hard, push with purpose, but don't stop. That's how dreams are built. Not with ease, but with effort repeated over time. Consistent, focused, determined effort, day after day, even when progress is slow, even when results aren't obvious, even when no one's clapping for you. Because eventually, effort pays off. It always does. Maybe not in the way you expected, but always in the way you needed. You think the people you admire got there by accident? No. They fought through resistance. They stayed in the fight longer than others were willing to. They weren't special. They were committed. They got up when it hurt. They kept going when it was lonely. They worked when no one believed in them yet. That's the kind of person you have to become. Not the one who hopes things change, the one who changes things. You don't need permission to start. You don't need perfect conditions. You need to stop making excuses and start making progress. The time you've spent talking yourself out of it, you could have been building. The time you've spent waiting for motivation, you could have been improving. You already know what to do. The only thing left is to do it. Start with one small promise to yourself today. Something you know you've been avoiding. Then do it. Don't overthink it. Don't analyze it. Just follow through. Then do it again tomorrow. Stack those small wins. Build that momentum. And watch how your confidence grows. Not from what you say, but from what you do. You'll start to see yourself differently. You'll walk differently. You'll think differently. Because nothing changes a person like effort, real effort. The kind that comes from choosing growth over comfort. The kind that turns potential into power. The kind that changes lives. This is your life, not a rehearsal, not a warm-up. This is it. You get one shot. And the time to start building your dream is not next week or next month. It's right now. Right here, in the middle of your fear. In the middle of your uncertainty. Push through it. You're stronger than you think. You're more capable than you've been acting. But you won't know that until you show up and put the work in. So push through the excuses. They've taken enough from you. Build your dream with effort. No shortcuts, no lies, just real, honest, focused work. That's how you change your life. That's how you earn your future. Start now. Do not stop. Build it. Number 4, train your mind daily and strengthen your self-control. If you can't control your mind will control your life. And most people don't even realize it's already happening. That voice that tells you to give up. That feeling that drags you back into old habits. That emotional impulse that ruins your progress. That's not just chance. That's an untrained mind. And it's stealing your potential every single day. Think about this. How many times have you said you'd start something and then quit after a few days? How often do your emotions make decisions for you? That's not because you're weak. It's because you haven't trained your mind yet. Your mind is the operating system of your entire life. And if it's not sharpened, focused, and directed, it will default to fear, distraction, and self-doubt. That's what most people live with. They react to life instead of leading it. But you are not most people. You were born with the power to direct your thoughts. But like anything, that power grows when you train it. You don't become mentally strong by accident. You become strong when you show up every single day with the intention to sharpen your thinking. You become strong when you stop letting your mood decide your actions. You become strong when you decide that discipline matters more than feeling comfortable. We live in a world that pulls at your attention constantly. Your phone, your screen, notifications, temptations, they're all fighting for control of your thoughts. And the more you give in, the more control you lose. That's not a small thing. That's your life slipping into someone else's hand. That's your goals being put on hold while your impulses run the show. And the scary part is that it happens so subtly you don't even notice. One moment of distraction becomes a habit. One skipped task becomes a routine. One excuse becomes a personality. But here's the truth. Your future will be determined by what you choose to focus on today. And if your mind is constantly pulled in 100 directions, your goals won't stand a chance. That's why training your mind isn't optional. It's necessary. You've got to build that mental muscle. Just like the body doesn't grow stronger without pressure, the mind doesn't grow sharper without discipline. You've got to sit with discomfort. You've got to quiet the noise. You've got to say no to the thoughts that pull you away from who you're becoming. Start with small acts of control. Wake up when you said you would. Do the task even when it's boring. Finish what you start. Delay gratification. Say no to something you usually give into. These are not just random acts of willpower. They are mental reps, and every one of them is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Every time you make a choice that aligns with your highest goals, even when it's uncomfortable, you are shaping your mind into something stronger. You are building resilience. You are proving to yourself that your future matters more than your comfort. And that changes how you walk through life. You start showing up differently. You stop chasing easy things. You start chasing meaningful ones. But don't expect it to be automatic. You'll have to fight for it. You'll have to wrestle with old patterns. You'll have to face down the parts of you that want to stay the same. That's why most people never get there. They stop at the first sign of resistance. They believe their doubts more than they believe in themselves. But that doesn't have to be your story. Your story can be one of self-mastery, of becoming someone who's in control of their choices, someone who doesn't fold under pressure, someone who's solid, focused, and clear. That kind of person doesn't show up by accident. That kind of person is built one disciplined day at a time. So ask yourself, what thoughts are holding you back? What impulses are keeping you stuck? What excuses are stealing your progress? You already know the answers, and now it's time to do something about them. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start now. Start with whatever you've got. Just start. Even if it's one small shift, one decision to hold the line, one action that pushes back against your weakness. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. Progress in the way you think. Progress in the way you act. Progress in the way you respond to pressure. The stronger your mind, the fewer times you'll quit. The more self-control you develop, the more control you'll have over the results in your life. That's not luck. That's not personality. That's a practiced way of living. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be focused. You don't need to know everything. You need to train your mind to stay on track. When most people fall off, that's the edge. That's the advantage. The person who can keep going when the feelings fade. That's the person who wins. That's the person who gets ahead. And that can be you. So decide now. Train your mind daily. Don't leave it to chance. Strengthen your self-control like it's a skill, because it is. You build it with repetition, with effort, with discipline. And every time you do, you get closer to the life you were meant to live. Make that your mission. Make that your priority. Everything else will fall into place. Stay strong. Stay focused. Stay in control. The results will speak for themselves. Number 5. Take full ownership and stop blaming your situation. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's not the world's fault. It's time to take responsibility for it. That's not always easy to hear, but it's the truth. Blaming your situation might feel justified, but it won't move you forward. Ownership, as long as you're pointing the finger, you're giving away your power. And the longer you do that, the longer you stay stuck. You didn't choose everything that happened to you. You didn't ask for every challenge you faced. But now, right now, you have a choice. You can either keep repeating the same story about why you're stuck, or you can start writing a new one about how you changed your life. That choice belongs to you, and the first step toward a better life is taking full ownership of the one you're living now. People wait for their circumstances to change so they can feel better, work harder, or start fresh. But that waiting is the trap. Circumstances don't shape your future. Your response does. Your attitude, your habits, your choices. That's where your freedom begins. And as long as you blame what's around you, you'll never look at what's inside you. But that's where the power is. That's where your growth is. That's where transformation happens. You see, ownership isn't about guilt. It's about strength. It's about finally saying, my results are in my hand. That means no more excuses. No more blaming your parents. No more complaining about your past. No more pointing at your boss or your partner or your upbringing. Because the more time you spend blaming, the less time you spend building. When you take ownership, you stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You stop expecting life to get easier. You stop playing small. You stand up and say, this is my life, and I'm going to make the most of it. That kind of shift changes everything. You stop reacting and you start leading. You stop doubting and you start deciding. You stop feeling powerless and start realizing you've had control all along. You just weren't using it. Blame feels good in the moment. It protects your pride. It gives you an excuse to stay the same. But pride won't pay your bills. Pride won't build your dream. Pride won't help you grow. Ownership will. And the moment you take it fully, things begin to shift. Not instantly, not overnight, but day by day, you begin to feel the difference. You begin to act differently. You begin to attract new results because you're finally operating from power, not pity. The question you need to ask yourself is simple. Are you building your life, or are you defending your excuses? Because you can't do both. You either use your energy to improve your situation, or use it to explain why it hasn't improved. That's the line that separates people who rise from people who remain. It's not about luck. It's not about chance. It's about ownership. People who own their lives make different decisions. They move with clarity. They speak with conviction. They don't wait for opportunities. They create them. And I get it. It's easier to look outside yourself. It's easier to say, if only this changed, then I could move forward. But that kind of thinking keeps you stuck in a loop. Because even when the situation changes, if your mindset stays the same, you'll end up in the same place. You'll attract the same problems. You'll repeat the same patterns. Real change starts when you stop pointing and start reflecting. What can I do better? What have I been avoiding? What habits are keeping me in this cycle? Those are hard questions, but they lead to real answers. And once you face them, you become dangerous in the best way. You stop looking for comfort and start seeking growth. You stop needing permission and start taking action. You stop caring about what's fair and start caring about what's possible. And here's the part nobody talks about. Ownership gives you peace, because once you take responsibility, you stop waiting for the world to change and you start changing yourself. That's when anxiety drops. That's when resentment fades. That's when you finally feel like you're in the driver's seat, because you are. If your finances are a mess, own it. If your relationships are toxic, own it. If your health is declining, own it. That doesn't mean you blame yourself for everything that's happened. It means you hold yourself accountable for what happens next. You start asking, what can I control right now? And then you do that every day, with focus, with honesty, with no room for blame. Your situation might not be your fault, but your response is always your responsibility. Life's not fair. It never was. But fairness doesn't determine your future. Effort does. Discipline does. Vision does. You can either complain about what life gave you, or you can take what you've got and make something out of it. I've seen people come from nothing and build everything. Not because they had help, not because it was easy, but because they stopped blaming and started building. They said, this is my mess, and I'm gonna clean it up. This is my dream, and I'm gonna chase it. This is my time, and I'm not gonna waste it. And that mindset, it spreads into every area of life. You walk differently, you talk differently, you carry yourself with a quiet strength, because you know you're not waiting on anyone. You're doing the work, you're facing the truth, you're growing every day, and people notice, they feel it, because ownership radiates. It creates impact. It inspires others to rise too. You want your life to taste, then make a decision. From this moment forward, I take full ownership. I stop blaming the past. I stop complaining about what I don't have. I use what I've got and I build something better. That decision changes everything, because it pulls you out of victim thinking and puts you into creator mode. You're not at the mercy of life anymore. You're designing, and don't wait for approval. You don't need it. Don't wait for a better mood. It might not come. Don't wait for someone to tell you you're ready. You already are. You've been carrying potential for too long. Now it's time to put it to work. Step by step, day by day, with full responsibility. Take the wheel. Drive your life. Stop sitting in the passenger seat, hoping things improve. Improvement is your job now. Growth is your duty. And ownership is your superpower. When you live like that, things begin to change. Slowly at first, then all at once. Because effort compounds, decisions stack, discipline builds. And before you know it, you're not the same person anymore. You're stronger, clearer, more alive. Not because life handed you a miracle, but because you took your life seriously. You stopped blaming. You started owning, and that changed everything. So don't wait. Own it all and get to work. Number 6, work harder than yesterday and track your progress. If you don't push harder than you did yesterday, you'll stay exactly where you are. And deep down, you know that's not enough for you anymore. No one wakes up successful by accident. No one gets stronger, sharper, or better by doing the same thing every day and hoping life just magically improves. You grow by effort. You rise by pushing. You succeed by tracking your movement forward with ruthless honesty. That's the path, and it's not negotiable. You can't afford to coast, not if you're serious about becoming someone greater. Coasting is for people who've given up and just won't say it out loud. It's for the ones who fear change more than they fear staying stuck. But you're not built for that. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want more out of yourself. But wanting isn't enough. You've got to prove it through effort. You've got to wake up, look yesterday in the face, and say, today I will beat you. Because if you're not improving, you're declining. There's no neutral in life. Time is always moving. People are always growing. And if you're just going through the motions, you're falling behind without realizing it. That's why most people never make it to their next level. They mistake comfort for progress. They assume activity equals growth. But showing up isn't enough. You've got to outwork your past. You've got to measure it, test it, and challenge it every day. You want to be proud of who you are? Then start putting in the kind of work that earns pride. Not the kind that's loud or flashy, but the kind that builds silently and shows up in your result. The kind that says, I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm here to impress myself, because that's where real power lives, in the quiet discipline, in the extra effort, in the willingness to go one more round. When yesterday's version of you would have quit, and you won't know how far you've come if you're not tracking it. Most people fail, not because they're lazy, but because they're blind to their patterns. They don't know what's working. They don't know what's falling short. They live in a fog of uncertainty because they're not measuring their reality. And when you don't measure, you don't improve. It's that simple. So how do you track it? You write it down every single day. What did you get done? What did you avoid? Where did you slip up? Where did you win? You don't lie. You don't exaggerate. You look at the truth and you learn from it. That's how winners are made. They treat their progress like it matters. Because it does. If you're not getting better every day, ask yourself why. What are you doing with your time? What are you feeding your mind? How are you spending the first hour of your morning? What's the last thing you do before bed? These little details matter more than most people want to admit. They shape you. They direct you. And if you're not examining them, they'll silently control your life without your permission. You want more energy, more focus, more confidence. Then start living like it. Start treating your goals like deadlines. Start attacking your weaknesses instead of avoiding them. Stop saying I'll get to it and start saying it gets done today. That mindset alone will separate you from 99% of the people you know. Not because you're smarter, but because you're willing to take yourself seriously. There's something powerful about proving to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can push past yesterday's limit, that you don't fold under pressure. You rise. That kind of confidence doesn't come from reading about it. It comes from the work, from the hours no one sees, from the fight no one claps for, from doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it, and don't expect it to feel good. Growth isn't comfortable. Improvement is not meant to be easy. If it were, everyone would do it. But most people will never experience the pride that comes from real effort, because they settle for routines that keep them safe. They settle for the same level, the same pace, the same comfort zone. And then they wonder why nothing changed. You've got to be relentless. You've got to say yesterday was a warm-up. Today is the real work. You've got to track what you eat, track what you think, track how you spend your hours. Because when you hold yourself accountable in the small things, the big things fall into place. You stop drifting. You stop wondering. You start knowing. You know what you did. You know where you stand. You know where you're headed. That kind of clarity makes you unstoppable. And don't confuse working hard with burning out. Working hard means you bring purpose to your hours, not chaos. It means you remove distractions. You focus. You give your best, and then you recover, then you reset, then you go again. Because it's not about destroying yourself. It's about building yourself, day by day, brick by brick. No shortcuts, no cheats. Compare yourself to who you were, not to who others are. Because your only real competition is the person in the mirror. That's the battle you fight. That's the standard you beat. If you were undisciplined yesterday, then today you hold the line. If you made excuses yesterday, then today you hold yourself to the truth. And when you do that enough times, you won't even recognize who you used to be. That transformation, it's earned through the daily grind, through the invisible progress, through the sweat and silence, and the slow, steady rise. And it feels good, not because it's easy, but because it's real. You know you didn't cheat your way there. You didn't fake it. You didn't luck out. You built it. You pushed harder. You tracked it. You earned it. So what's your next step? What's one thing you can do today to outwork the person you were yesterday. Do that. Just one thing. One decision that puts you in a better place than you were in the day before. And then do it again tomorrow. Stack that habit. Build that streak. Don't break it for anything. Because every day you keep that promise to yourself, you become the kind of person you used to look up to. And here's the truth. The world doesn't owe you a single thing, but you owe yourself the chance to see what you're truly capable of. That's not hype. That's your duty, your responsibility, your shot. And it starts now. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now, work harder than you did yesterday. Measure your progress. Adjust, grow, repeat. And if you stay locked in, if you stay consistent, there's not a thing in your way that you won't overcome. You have to want it more than your comfort. You have to want it more than your excuses. And you have to want it every single day. That's how you win. That's how you rise. That's how you build a life you're proud of. So get to work, track it, push it, and don't look back. Number 7, demand more from yourself and stop settling for less. You were not born to live average, so stop living like it's all you deserve. There's something in you that knows you've been playing small. You feel it when you wake up tired of your own routine. You feel it when you walk through the day with energy that never gets used for anything meaningful. You feel it when another year passes and you're still stuck in the same place, telling yourself the same story about why things haven't changed. But deep down, you know what the real reason is. You've been settling for less than what you're capable of, settling for just enough to get by, settling for comfort instead of greatness. Most people never tap into their full potential because they're afraid to raise their standard. They're afraid to demand more from themselves. They've convinced themselves that wanting more makes them ungrateful, that pushing harder makes them selfish, that standing up for what they deserve is arrogant. But none of that is true. In fact, the most respectful thing you can do with your life is to become the best version of yourself, not just for you, but for the people you love. Because when you rise, everything around you rises too. Think about where you are right now. Your current habits, your current discipline, your current results. That's your baseline. That's what you've tolerated. That's what you've allowed. But that's not your limit. That's not your ceiling. That's just what you've settled for. And the gap between who you are and who you could be, that gap is built on choice. Deliberate, intentional choices. And if you want more, if you're serious about growth, then the first step is this. Stop being okay with what's not okay anymore. You can't keep lowering your standards every time life gets uncomfortable. You can't keep shrinking to fit into environments that don't require your best. You can't keep quieting your own ambition just because others don't understand it. You've got to rise above that. You've got to raise your expectations. You've got to demand more, not in a loud way, but in a consistent way, in a way that shows up in how you live, how you speak, how you work, and how you because here's the truth. Life gives you what you tolerate. If you keep tolerating low effort, you'll keep getting low results. If you keep accepting your own excuses, you'll never outgrow your current situation. If you keep avoiding discomfort, you'll never step into your potential. The change happens when you look yourself in the mirror and say, this isn't enough for me anymore. I want more. I will become more. I will act like someone who expects excellence from themselves. That kind of mindset doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. It comes from deciding that you're not okay with average effort, average health, average relationships, average goals. You want the kind of life that reflects your highest standards. You want energy that matches your vision. You want discipline that reflects your future, not your path. And none of that comes from settling. It comes from expecting more and backing it up with action. Start being brutally honest with yourself. Where are you slacking? Where are you lying to yourself about effort? Where are you pretending that something is fine when it's actually draining you? Don't dress it up. Don't sugarcoat it. Look at it directly. Because until you face it, you can't fix it. And once you face it, you have a decision to make. Stay in it or step above it. And stepping above it doesn't mean waiting for motivation. It means creating new standards and sticking to them. It means showing up even when the old version of you would have tapped out. It means pushing when you feel like easing off. It means tracking your progress, evaluating your choices, and refusing to let another day pass without giving it everything you've got. Raise the bar in your health, in your focus, in your relationships, in your work. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be better than yesterday. That's the rule. That's the commitment. That's how real growth works. You wake up and you raise the standard a little more each day. You push your limit. You reject your excuses. You outgrow the old habits that kept you comfortable but not fulfilled. And people around you might not get it. They might call you intense or obsessed. Let them. That's their limit, not yours. Don't let their comfort become your ceiling. Don't let their approval stop you from leveling up. You don't owe anyone an explanation for wanting to become everything you're capable of, but you do owe it to yourself to pursue it with everything you've got. You've got dreams, you've got talent, you've got time left. Don't waste another hour being okay with less than your best. Start demanding more from your mindset, from your effort, from your decisions. Demand better habits, demand deeper focus, demand higher energy, and watch how life starts rising to meet you. Because when you stop settling, everything starts shifting. Your confidence rises, your goals get clearer, your days become more meaningful. You stop feeling stuck because you're no longer standing still. You're moving forward with intention, and that movement, it's everything. It's what keeps your life growing. It's what brings peace to your mind. It's what gives your future power. And maybe no one claps for your progress today. That's okay. The results will. The pride will. The life you build will. Because when you raise your standards, you don't just improve your days, you transform your direction. And the more consistent you get with that, the more unstoppable you become. So this is the moment to choose. Stay in your comfort zone, or step into your potential. Keep making peace with less, or demand more. The life you want won't chase you. You've got to go get it. And you do that by raising your expectations and refusing to let them drop. Not just once, every single day. You're not average, so don't live like. Don't settle for anything less than what brings you alive. You've got one shot at this life. One, make it count, make it bold. Make it something you look back on with pride. Raise your standards, demand more. Start today, don't go back. Keep climbing, keep rising, and don't ever settle again. Number 8, build daily discipline and show up with purpose today. If you don't build discipline today, you'll regret the life you didn't build tomorrow. You don't need another motivational quote, another reminder to believe in yourself. You need structure, you need grit, you need daily habits that force you to show up with intention and not just float through the day like it doesn't matter. Because it does. Today matters more than most people are willing to admit. And if you waste it, you don't just lose a day, you lose the progress that could have. That's the cost of drifting, and it adds up fast. You've seen it happen before. You had a goal, a fire, a burst of energy, but no plan, no discipline, no follow-through. And so the fire faded. You said you changed, but you didn't build the habits that make change real. And now here you are again, wondering why it feels like nothing is moving, wondering why you keep coming back to the same problems. It's not because you're broken. It's because you haven't made the decision to live with discipline. Not once in a while, daily. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about purpose. It's the daily proof that your future matters to you. It's waking up and choosing to act on your values, not your feelings. Feelings change. Purpose stays. And if you wait until you feel like it, you'll waste years of your life waiting. The most successful people you admire don't feel inspired every morning. They're disciplined. They have routines that override mood, systems that guide them, and a mindset that says, I do the work no matter what. Most people won't do that. They'll wait for the right time. They'll wait to be in the mood. And they'll keep waiting while life passes them by. But not you. You're here because you want to live differently. You want to lead your life instead of reacting to it. And that starts by making today matter. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. You have more power in this moment than you realize. But only if you stop running from structure and start leaning into it. You got to build habits that keep you anchored when everything around you feels chaotic. You got to set a standard for yourself that doesn't drop just because you're tired or discouraged. You got to train your mind to show up even when your emotions try to pull you back. That's how you grow. That's how you become someone you're proud of. Because anyone can start something, very few stay with it long enough to finish it. That's the difference discipline makes. It turns wishful thinking into real progress. And don't think you need to make massive changes all at once. That's not the way discipline is built. It's built in the small things. Waking up when you said you would. Starting the workout when your body says rest. Writing the plan when your mind wants to scroll. Making the call when your fear says wait. That's where self-respect is forged. That's where consistency is formed. And over time, those small actions stack into unstoppable momentum. Start tracking your behavior. Know what time you wake up. Know what you eat. Know where your time goes. Because if you don't measure it, you can't change it. Most people stay stuck because they're guessing. You can't guess your way to growth. You need clarity. You need accountability. You need to know the gap between who you are and who you're trying to become. And you close that gap by doing what needs to be done, not what feels easy. You won't always see the results right away. That's the test. That's where most people quit. They put in a few days of effort and expect everything to shift overnight. But change doesn't work that way. You've got to keep showing up before it pays off. You've got to trust the work before the reward shows up. You've got to act like success is inevitable, even when the mirror doesn't show it yet. That's the part nobody talks about. The lonely days, the silent effort, the internal war between your comfort and your calling. And the way you win that war, daily discipline, not once in a while, not when it's convenient. Every single day. You don't have to be extreme. You have to be consistent. That's what separates the people who rise from the people who settle. They don't rely on luck. They rely on habits. They don't wait to be motivated. They create structure that keeps them moving forward. Make today count. Not because you feel pressure, but because you feel purpose. Wake up with clarity. Ask yourself, what would the most focused version of me do today? How would that person, how would they eat, move, think, speak, work, rest? And then you live like that. Not perfectly, but intentionally. And when you fall off, you don't spiral. You reset. You get back to the plan. You don't quit because it got hard. You commit because it matters. Every day you stay disciplined, you build proof. Proof that you're not the same person you used to be. Proof that you can rely on yourself. Proof that you're someone who does what they say. And that proof builds confidence, real confidence. Not based on compliments, not based on image, based on action, based on self-trust, based on the fact that when it's time to show up, you do. Start expecting more from yourself, not in a punishing way, but in a powerful way. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to stop negotiating with your goals. Stop waking up and hoping the day flows. Take control of it, direct it, lead it, set a routine that matches the results you want. Don't overcomplicate it. Start simple. Start now. Pick 3 habits, lock them in, no matter what. Could be reading for 10 minutes, moving your body, planning your day. Whatever aligns with your future, do that every day. No exceptions. Because when you show up daily, life starts responding. Not immediately, but inevitably. You become sharper, quieter inside, more certain, more effective. And the world sees it. People feel it. You're not here to repeat the same year over and over. You're here to grow, to improve, to push boundaries. And the only way that happens is if you commit to discipline like your future depends on it. Because it does. So ask yourself, who do I want to become? And what does that person do every day? Then become them today. Don't wait. Don't stall. Don't keep living like time is unlimited. It's not. Use it, respect it, build with it. Show up with purpose, lock in the discipline, and don't stop. You're not chasing motivation anymore. You're leading your life, and that makes all the difference. Number 9, stick to your plan and refuse to break your word. If you keep breaking promises to yourself, how can you ever expect to trust yourself again? Every time you say you'll do something, and don't follow through, it chips away at your confidence, your momentum, and your belief in your own word. And whether people talk about it or not, that matters more than most realize. Your word to yourself is the foundation of your self-respect. If you can't depend on it, nothing else holds. Think about all the goals you set with good intentions. The morning you said you'd start getting up earlier. The plan you wrote out for your future. The diet, the routine, the financial goals. You meant it when you said it. But then life showed up. Discomfort showed up. Distractions showed up. And slowly you let yourself slide. Not in big obvious ways, but in small choices. You pushed the plan off for a better time. You skipped the action step because the mood wasn't right. You made excuses that sounded logical, but deep down you knew what they were. And here's the truth. Your plan didn't fail. You just stopped following it. You broke your word. You walked away from your commitment. Not because you're weak, not because you're lazy, but because no one taught you how much power there is in honoring your own word. No matter what. It's easy to break promises when the only one watching is you. But that's exactly where character is built. Not when people are looking, not when applause is on the line, but when it's just you, your plan, and the choice to keep your word or let yourself off the hook again. When you build a habit of sticking to your plan, something inside you starts to change. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop questioning your direction. You walk with a different level of clarity and strength. Because you've proven over and over again that you can count on yourself. And that kind of self-trust, that's rare, that's powerful. That's what separates the ones who rise from the ones who repeat. This isn't about perfection, it's about integrity. It's about honoring your plan. Not because you feel like it, but because it's what you said you'd do. That's the core, that's the practice. And it starts small, one promise at a time. You say you'll wake up early, then wake up early. You say you'll go to the gym, then show up, even if you're tired, even if you're late, even if it's messy. The discipline is in the doing. The power is in the follow-through. Because if your word doesn't matter to you, nothing else will. People who trust themselves don't need motivation. They've got stand. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, did I say I would? That one shift, it changes your life. It simplifies your decision-making. It strengthens your will. It shapes your identity. And don't underestimate what happens when you keep showing up. One workout becomes a habit. One journal page becomes a mindset shift. One hard decision becomes a new standard. That's how results are made. Not by some dramatic overhaul, but by quietly honoring your word in private, over and over again. If you're not where you want to be, look at your word. Are you keeping it? Or are you negotiating with it every time life gets uncomfortable? Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they keep changing the plan. They make a schedule and abandon it. They make a goal and rewrite it. They build a structure and ignore it. That's not how excellence is built. Excellence is built on consistency, discipline, standards that don't bend when things get tough. And you already know that. You've seen it in others. You've admired it in people who seem unshakable. It's not magic. It's not genetics. It's habits. It's keeping their word when nobody's watching. It's making their plans sacred. And you can do that too. Start with one thing today. One promise you make and keep. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Pick something that matters and lock it in. Then do it again tomorrow. Then again the next day. Don't aim for intensity. Aim for integrity. The kind of integrity that says, if I said I'd do it, I will. Period. Because when you stick to your plan, your identity shifts. You go from I hope I change, I am changing. You go from chasing discipline to living it. You become someone who doesn't break their word. Not to themselves, not to others. And that kind of strength, that's unshakable. You start trusting yourself again. You stop doubting every decision. You stop looking for permission. You stop needing motivation. Because now you've got proof. You've got history. You've got a plan you honor. And that plan honors you back. It gives you growth. It gives you results. It gives you pride. And let's be clear, this isn't about being perfect every day. It's about being real. Real with your goals, real with your time, real with the fact that your life is moving. And if you don't lock in now, you'll look back months from now with nothing but more regret. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Now, decide what matters, write the plan, then live it. Not sometimes, not when the mood strikes, every single day. You're not here to break your own heart by breaking your own word anymore. Make it count, make it serious. Show yourself what happens when you keep the promise, the pride you'll feel, the control you'll take back, the strength you'll carry. That's the reward, not from outside, from within. So draw the line. This is the day the old pattern ends. From this moment forward, if you say it, you mean it. If you plan it, you do it. If you start it, you finish it. No more broken promises. No more excuses dressed up as logic. No more waiting for better condition. You've got a plan. Stick to it. You've got your word. Protect it. That's how you win. That's how you grow. That's how you build the life you know you're capable of living. It starts with one promise. Keep it. Then keep the next. And don't stop. Number 10. Use every morning to prove you want this life. Every morning is a test. A challenge to prove you actually want the life you say you want. It's easy to say you want success, happiness, or freedom. But that means nothing without the proof that comes in how you start your day. When your alarm goes off and your body wants to stay in bed, that's the moment that separates the people who dream from the people who do. Because every morning is a chance to choose, to act, to show yourself who you really are. You might feel tired. You might feel fulfilled. You might feel like the weight of yesterday is still holding you down. That's exactly why your morning matters. It's your chance to reset, to create a new story, to demonstrate to yourself that your dreams are worth more than comfort. Every time you get up on time, every time you stick to your routine, every time you refuse to hit snooze, you're sending a message to your mind, your body, your future, that you're serious, that you're committed, that this life is not a game or a wish, it's your mission. Most people don't realize the power in their morning. They wake up and instantly rush into distractions. They check phones, scroll through social media, get caught up in noise that drains their energy before the day even begins. But you don't have to be like that. You have the choice to protect your morning, to guard it like it's sacred. Because that first hour sets the tone for everything that follows. It's the foundation of your mindset, your focus, and your energy. Imagine waking up tomorrow, and instead of the usual routine, you take control. You get out of bed with purpose. You move your body. You breathe deeply. You plan your day with intent. You feed your mind with positive thoughts or learning. You show up for yourself first, before the world demands your attention. That morning shapes your entire day. It builds your confidence. It sharpens your will. It fuels your progress. The mornings when you decide to prove your commitment become milestones. They stack, they build momentum that pushes you through challenges later. Because it's not just about a good start, it's about proving you can be consistent. You can overcome excuses. You can put action ahead of hesitation. Each morning you do this, you're rewriting the story of who you are. You're not someone who quits or waits for motivation. You're someone who decides and delivers. There will be mornings when your bed feels like a magnet, when your body aches for rest, when your mind tells you the work can wait. Those mornings are the real test. If you give in, you teach yourself that comfort wins, that your dreams can be postponed, that your future can be compromised for the temporary ease. But if you push through, if you get up and do what you planned, you prove you want this life more than comfort. You show that your goals are not negotiable, that you honor your own word. This isn't about perfection, it's about commitment. Some mornings won't be your best. Some days you'll struggle. But what matters is that you don't give up on the process. You keep showing up. You keep proving to yourself every single morning that this life is worth the effort, that your dreams deserve your action, that you are worthy of the future you envision. Use your morning to connect with your why. Remind yourself why you started, what you're working for, who you want to become. When that why is clear, your discipline becomes easier. Your focus sharpens. You don't waste energy on doubts. or distractions. You align your thoughts and actions toward the life you want. Make your morning a ritual that honors your goal. Could be reading, journaling, planning, moving, or meditating. Whatever fuels your mind and body, whatever makes you feel ready. Build habits that protect this time. Don't let distractions steal it. Don't let laziness rob it. Because how you start your day is how you start your life. Remember, success doesn't come from luck or chance. It comes from choices made daily. From proving to yourself, over and over, that you can be trusted, that you will keep going, that your dreams aren't just ideas, they're promises you're willing to fight for. And every morning is your chance to prove that. So when your alarm rings tomorrow, don't ignore it. Don't hit snooze. Don't delay. Get up and act. Show up with purpose. Do the work your future needs, and keep doing it the next day and the day after that. Because your consistency is what builds your legacy. You want this life? Then prove it every morning. Show yourself what commitment looks like. Show yourself what courage looks like. Show yourself what a person who wins looks like. And don't stop until the life you dreamed of is the life you're living. This is your moment, your chance to take control, your chance to say yes to your future. The time is now. The power is in your hands. Use your mornings to prove you want this life. Then live it with everything you've got.